So, okay, dear students, towards the end of last class, we introduced the concept of the finite difference operators. So, using the finite difference operators, you can approximate certain derivatives conveniently. Okay, so I am just going to the last class note, to the last part, and very quickly we shall come back to the central difference approximation of different orders of derivatives, which will give you the second order accuracy. So this was the last note that I was sharing. So in this note towards the end, we are introducing the concept of finite difference operators. Okay, so we have forward difference operators, backward difference operators. Okay, here we have the backward difference operator. So we have shown some examples and we have also defined the central difference operators. Okay, central difference operator for the first derivative and central difference operator for the second derivative. And we have shown one illustrative example also. So this was the end of the last class. So here we have shown the forward difference and backward difference of first order accuracy. So during these questions, you must remember that if I ask any question in the mid, suppose if there is a midterm exam or if I take a second quiz, so in that, you should be very careful about this order of accuracy when I am asking for the finite difference approximations using operators. So for first order derivatives of any order, the formula which we shall use that will give you first order accuracy. Same will hold for the backward difference operator. And when you are going for the central difference operator, then we have the second order accuracy. So forward difference and backward difference together when we consider, then we go for the central difference. So for central difference, as I have told many times, there is no directional preference. So when you are moving to the right side by the certain amount, you have to move to the left side by the same extent so that the things are balanced. Okay. So the central difference scheme, the way the operator is defined, it is the combination, or it is average of the forward difference and the backward difference scheme. Okay. So this is the forward difference formula where whether the n is an even number or odd number, n is an integer, it does not matter. So n is greater than equals to 1. So for forward and backward difference, n can be any integer other than 0, and this n is it can be even number or it can be an odd number. But when you go for the central difference, we have two different formulas based on the even or odd nature of n. Okay, so let us just start sharing that note. So when we go for the central difference approximation by using the operators, so this n is important, whether n is an even number or whether n is an odd number. Based on that, we have two different formulas. Okay, and you have to remember that the order of accuracy is different from the forward or backward difference formulas. So in this case, the order of accuracy is 2. Okay, so if n is an even number, if n is 2, 4, 6, 8 like that, then this is the formula for getting the forward difference approximation. So since this is, suppose this is x to the power n, so for corresponding to delta x, we get h. So this is always h to the power n. So since we are doing some averaging kind of thing, so if you look into this expression, we have the forward difference expression. Okay, so here this variable u, it is taken over I minus n by 2. So n is an even number, so you are getting some quotient here. So this is the forward difference operator, and here we are getting the backward difference operator. So whatever you are doing for the forward difference operator, just the opposite you are doing in the backward difference operator, and then you are taking the average of both. Because of this averaging, we get this 2 and we get this formula. And when you are going for n equals to, when the n becomes an odd number, so this n is substituted by n minus 1. Okay, so in the second formula, this n is substituted by n minus 1. So if n is 1, n is 3, n is 5, and so on, we get the second formula. In the second formula also you can see that we have one part with the forward difference and we have the next part with the backward difference, just opposite kind of things. Okay, so here this I means ui plus n minus 1 by 2 for the backward difference. So whatever extent you are moving in the forward direction, by the same extent you will move in the opposite direction. And because of this averaging, we have this 2, and this is certainly h to the power n because x to the power n. And here there is no power of u. It is u to the power 1 always. So these are the two formulas. So we are showing one example when n is an odd number. So when n is 1, you know this already. So we have, by using Taylor's expansion, we have given when n is 1. So du dx formula by central difference, you know it. So it is ui plus 1 plus ui minus 1, ui plus 1 minus ui minus 1 by 2. And when you are going for this third derivative, okay, for the first derivative, the formula is ui plus 1 minus ui minus 1 by 2h or 2 delta x. Okay, so x to the power 1, so here h to the power 1. And when we are going for illustrative example, so let us consider for n equals to 3. So in this formula, n equals to 3 goes for this odd n. Okay, so we shall put wherever there is n, we shall put n equals to 3. So n equals to 3 will give you d3u dx3. So d3u dx3 or the third derivative. So this is del x 3 ui minus 3 minus 1 by 2. And similarly, we find out this expression. So correspondingly, this will be 2h cube. Okay, but this is not going to change. So order of accuracy, this is predefined. This is order of h square. So now from here we are finding del x cube ui minus 1. This will give you 1, and this is also opposite. This is the reverse operator, the backward difference operator, del x cube, reverse del, you can tell. So we can tell that this is ui plus 1. Okay, now we will repeatedly implement this del x operator on this variable, and this opposite reverse del we shall use on this variable. So 3 times you can apply. Okay, so when you are applying for the first time, so this is the forward difference operator and this is the backward difference operator. Okay, so in the first step, if you see it, so this del x cube, we are splitting it as del x square into del x. Okay, so this will operate on this term, and same thing we are doing here also. So reverse del x to reverse del x operating on this thing. So now in this next step, this operation will be done. Okay, so this is the forward difference operation, this one, and this is the backward difference operator. So because of that, if you see in the forward difference operator, this is del x square. So this will be ui minus 1 plus 1. Okay, so ui minus 1 plus 1 means this is ui minus whatever it is there. Okay, so ui minus 1. So this is the forward difference formula, this expression, this part. And similarly, this part, this comes as this bracketed term. Okay, so ui plus 1 minus ui, this is the backward difference formula. Okay, now you have to simplify this term here. So del x square ui minus del x square ui minus 1. So that we are doing here, del x square ui minus del x square ui minus 1, and remaining part we are doing here. Okay, so this we are doing by 2h cube. So now we have to implement this operator second time. So then del x square ui, this will be del x ui. Okay, so this is the first del x, and del x ui, you know that this is ui plus 1 minus ui. Then we shall come to this term. Okay, so this is del x, then next del x operating on ui minus 1. So del x, next del x is operating on ui minus 1. So ui minus 1. This is the forward difference expansion. Okay, now we are left with the third term. We are expanding it here by backward difference formula. So if you go by the backward difference formula, this backward difference is ui minus 1. So it is ui plus 1. So ui plus 1 minus ui plus 1 minus 1. So this is ui. And similarly, we are going for this last term. Okay, so we are having this expression. Now, individually, we shall write this operator for all the variables. So you are getting 2 terms from here, 2 terms from here, and then if you simplify, we are having all the final individual terms. So this, if you consider del x ui plus 1, this is ui plus 2 minus ui minus 1, forward difference formula, and del x ui plus 1 minus ui, but we have a minus sign here. So this is minus ui plus 1 and minus minus plus. Okay. So these first two terms, they are giving you four terms. Okay. Here also you have two terms. So you will get four more terms here. Two first two and second two. Similarly, these terms, if you simplify, okay, this backward difference part, so you are getting four more terms from here. So maybe this is two term, this is two term, from here two term, from here two term, and ultimately from here. So if you look here, this above portion, this is coming with this term, and this last two terms, it is coming from here. Okay. So backward difference of ui is ui minus ui minus 1. This is because of minus, this is minus ui, and this is plus ui minus 1. So there are several terms, they are repeating. So we just simplify here, and this is the final expression of central difference. Okay. ui plus 2 minus 2ui plus 1 plus 2ui minus 1 minus ui minus 2 by 2h cube plus order of h square. Okay. So without using Taylor series, by using the operators, finite difference operators, you can easily find out these finite difference approximations, okay, or differencing schemes. So if you look into this expression, you can certainly find out one symmetry, plus minus 1 minus 2 plus 2 minus 1. Okay, there is some kind of predictability, some kind of symmetry in the central difference formula. And as I have told you, the central difference is a combination of the forward difference and the backward difference. Okay. So in this total simplification, we are not using the central difference operator, but directly we are using the forward and backward difference operators. So there are some problems I have put here. You can practice it. So this note I shall send you in the night itself, tonight itself. So you should practice this note. So in the using this operator, so when n equals to 4, you find out this expression. Okay. So if you look into this formula, so what is happening that when n equals to 1, we have two terms. When n equals to 1, then this becomes du dx. In du dx, we have ui plus 1 minus ui minus 1. So we have two terms. Okay. So when it is du dx, we have two terms. When it is n equals to 2, we are getting d2u dx2. In d2u dx2, we have discussed in the in the previous class. In d2u dx2, you have three terms. What are the terms? ui plus 1 minus 2ui plus ui minus 1. It means that in du dx, you have two terms. In d2u dx2, we have three terms. And in every case, the order of accuracy is 2. So when you are now, just now, we have seen that when it is becoming d3u dx3, order is increasing by 1. So we are expecting that there should be 3 plus 1 terms in the numerator. So there should be 4 terms in the numerator. So you are finding that, yes, really, there are four terms in the numerator: first term, second term, third term, and fourth term. Okay. So this d2u dx2, you are taking at point I. So these things you should remember, that this d3u dx3 you are taking at point I or node I, but this node I is absent in the final expression. Okay. So here for odd derivatives, node I will be absent. For even derivatives, the node will be present. So here the node is absent, and with respect to node I, you are moving by the same direction in the forward direction and by the same direction in the backward direction. So what we learn actually, so if it is the first derivative, second order accurate central difference will have two terms. If it is a second derivative, second order accurate central difference formula will have three terms. If it is a third derivative, second order accurate central difference will have four terms. So there are four terms. For odd derivatives, I will be absent. For even derivatives, I is present. So if d3u dx3, in this case you are getting four terms, then you can predict that if you go for d4u dx4, you should get 5 terms. Okay. So I have given the answer for this problem, that you find out using these operators the simplified form of d4u dx4. So if you expand it, I have written the final form here. So here you are getting 5 terms. Okay. I plus 2, I plus 1, I minus 1, and I plus I minus 2. So here also you are finding some kind of symmetry. So we can see that for even derivatives, you have I node present, but for odd derivatives, the I node is absent. Okay. So this is one exercise you must practice it, and there are some relations. Okay, these relations you should practice, that del x bar ui. So this we can cast with respect to forward difference. Already we have told that this central difference formula you can represent as a combination of forward difference and backward difference, and that we are doing here. And here, the second order central difference formula, we are giving you three cases. Okay, so forward difference, backward difference together, and forward difference and backward difference operators, they are again acting. Now, whether you are performing the forward difference first or backward difference first, it does not matter. Okay, so the second central difference formula, this can be represented in terms of forward difference and backward difference, both the operators on the variable, but which operation we are performing first, whether the forward difference is performed first or backward difference is performed first, that does not matter. It will eventually give you the same answer. Okay, so these three problems you should practice. This note I shall send you guys by today itself. Then here we are giving some physical interpretation, that what do we mean by this forward difference, backward difference, or central difference. So just for understanding, we are showing the real or exact curve for this unknown variable. So ux is the unknown variable. Okay, so this is a single variable, means this is function of a single variable x. So this curve, this is the actual curve. Okay, this actually I have, you all are looking in the same color, but still you can try to find out that this curve is not a, so tangents are all straight lines. Other than straight line, whatever you can find out from here. So this is the curve actually. I was showing in a different direction. So this is the curve. So this is the curve which has one convex portion and we have one concave portion. Okay. So this part, this portion, this curve we are considering so that we can illustrate all the finite difference approximations at a particular point I. So this is the nodal point I, and these are the two nodal points at forward direction I plus 1 and backward direction I minus 1. So at this point I, we want to draw the tangent to this curve. Okay, so if this is the curve, so we have one exact tangent. So this exact tangent, this is passing through this point I. Now we are trying to represent, or we are trying to approximate this exact tangent or exact dux dx by certain approximations. We have forward difference approximations. So what we are doing in forward difference approximation, we have the nodal point I and I plus 1. When we join these 2 points I and I plus 1 and pass it through this point I, then we see that there is a divergence between this exact curve and the forward difference approximation, and this divergence is expected. Okay, and then when we are going for the backward difference formula, we have to consider the point I and point I minus 1. So point I and point I minus 1, these two we join by a dotted line. Okay, so when you join by a dotted line, you see that this is the approximation for this exact tangent. So this actual tangent or exact tangent, this is represented by this forward difference straight line and this other straight line. These are also like some kind of tangents, but you can see that both of them are away from the forward difference, this exact curve. Then when you are going for the central difference formula, then we are finding du dx at point I. You know that in central difference, you have to use forward difference and you have to use the backward difference. So it means that you have to go by the same extent in the right side and also in the left side. So by delta x, you are moving to the right, and delta x, you are moving to the left. So these 2 points, when you are joining, you are getting this curve, which is not passing through this point of interest at all. So now here, you have 3 different straight lines, one for forward difference, one for backward difference, one for central difference. And these 3 different straight lines, they are trying to represent, or they are trying to be equivalent to this exact tangent to this unknown curve at certain point. Okay, so this is the physical meaning of this forward difference, backward difference, and the central difference formula. So if you look into the CFD book by J.D. Anderson somewhere, you will find this curve and you will find very good discussions. Okay. Now, these are we have done for first order derivative or second order derivatives, but we have done it for the ordinary derivatives. So there are ordinary derivatives, there are partial derivatives, and there are mixed derivatives. So let us consider the second order mixed derivative. So when we have terms like del 2t del x del y, del 2u del x del y, these cross derivative terms. So how to approximate them? By using the Taylor's approximation or by using the basic central difference approximation. So there is, if you look into your CFD equations, okay, so we don't have any mixed derivative. We have only partial derivatives, okay. Yeah, so those are only functions of either x. Suppose when we are in individual terms, the derivatives are only with respect to x or only with respect to y. So I am telling that we get terms like del 2u del x2, we get terms like del 2u del y2, but we don't get terms like del 2u del x del y. We don't get terms like del 2t del x del y. Okay, in conventional this Navier-Stokes equations. But if you go for stream function vorticity formulation. So what we do that when you derive the stream function vorticity formulation or velocity vorticity formulation, we take the curl operator. Okay. So in stream function vorticity formulation, we take cross derivatives. So in that case, we get this kind of cross derivative terms or mixed derivative terms. But in conventional governing equations, in the primitive variable form, we don't get this kind of mixed derivatives. So here we are showing the example of the mixed derivative of this unknown u. So u is the function of both x and y. So we can have terms like del 2u del x2, we have terms like del 2u del y2, and we also have terms like del 2u del x del y. But in our fluid mechanics, fluid dynamics problems, we don't have to deal with this kind of terms in conventional equations. So we want to approximate this derivative using at nodal point ij. So for this case, we are showing the Cartesian grid lines. Okay. So we have, this is the pattern of the grid. Now, since this is cross derivative, so only the points which are cross relative to this point, only they should be important. So if you draw one cross, okay, cross symbol, whatever the points you are getting, suppose if you draw one cross at point O, what are the nodal points that will come into picture? One is this point, one is this point itself, one is this point, one is this point, and one is this point. So these 4 points, they will be the immediate neighbor points or important neighbor points to evaluate this cross derivative or the mixed derivative. Okay. So for plain derivatives, for derivative in single independent variable, we need only the straight. Suppose you have I, you have we need actually these straight neighbors that are directly orthogonal actually. So maybe you are getting this point, you are using this point, you are using this point, and you are using this point. So these are the remotest neighbors. So if you consider this rectangle, so these 4 vertices of the rectangle, they are the remotest nodes with respect to this point. Okay. So in case of mixed derivative, they are becoming very important. So this mixed derivative can be evaluated by simple forward difference, by simple central difference, or by using the Taylor's method. So we shall perform the central differencing, and then by using central differencing we shall approximate this equation, this term, and we shall show that this term will be a function of these 4 corners. Okay, this simplified form. So the first method, when we are doing, as I have told you, in this expression, it shows that when you are performing central difference operator, so which you are performing first. Okay, this is the forward and backward difference. So which is performing first or second, it is irrelevant. Okay, so here in this simplification, we are not going for forward or backward difference. We shall go directly for central difference. Okay, so what we are doing that, we shall, this terminology, this term, we can write it as del del x of del u del y. So this can be approximated at point ij. So in method 2, we are considering del del x of del del y of del u del x. Okay, so both are equivalent. So what we do that, first you see, we are taking the central difference in the x direction. So this quantity del u del y, this entire thing we are treating as a variable itself. Okay, so what we are doing, del del x of, suppose if this is phi, so del phi del x at ij. So you have to take the derivative with respect to x. Your derivative is with respect to x. So when you are taking your differentiation with respect to x, then I becomes important, j becomes constant. So in this case, your j will be fixed. You are moving in the x direction. When you are moving in the x direction, so your I will change and j will not change. So j will be constant. So what we are doing in this particular node, your j is j and I is I. So I will change, but j will not change. For central difference, when you are moving from I, for the first derivative, you have to move from I to I plus 1 and also from I to I minus 1. So that we are doing. So we are evaluating, if this is phi, so del phi, del x, phi, this is phi at I plus 1 j minus phi at I minus 1 j. So j is kept constant and I is varied. So the distance between I plus 1 and I minus 1 nodes, this is 2 delta x, okay? So this is I plus 1 j, this is I minus 1 j, and this distance is 2 delta x. So distance between these two nodes, so we have 2 delta x. And order of accuracy will be second order, but in x, because we are going for the x. Now, these terms are with respect to y, so we have to simplify them also by using the central difference formula. So when you are simplifying the y derivative, then your I is constant. You are dealing in this along this line, okay? In this case, your I will be constant. So you are propagating from bottom to top or maybe from top to bottom. Vertical direction you are moving. So what is happening that your I is not changing, but j will change. So that is happening here. For this term, we are getting that I is not changing. So I is becoming I plus 1, but j is changing. So j will be j plus 1, and it will be other, for other term it will be j minus 1. So it is j plus 1 and j minus 1. So I plus 1 is not changing. So divided by 2 delta y. Huh? So this distance is delta y, this is delta y, so this is 2 delta y. And similarly for this point, your I is not changing. So this is I minus 1 and I minus 1, but j is changing from j plus 1 to j minus 1. And the distance is 2 delta y. So here I did not write 2 delta x. I forgot to write 2 delta x. So there is one 2 delta x here. Okay. So here in the order of accuracy for this you will get the y derivative, delta y increment, delta y whole square. Okay. So if you simplify this term, then this is your finite difference approximation of the mixed derivative. So you have all these corner nodes, okay? So u I plus 1, j plus 1, u I plus 1, j plus 1, then u I plus 1, j minus 1. This is the point, u I plus 1, j minus 1, but this is plus and this is minus. So this is plus and this is minus. Then u I minus 1, j plus 1. So this is the point, u I minus 1, j plus 1. So this is coming here, and finally we have the bottom left corner, bottommost corner. So I minus 1 and j minus 1, I minus 1 and j minus 1. So this is positive. And from here we are getting 2 into 2, 4 delta x into delta y, 4 hk or 4 delta x delta y. And order of accuracy is in both variables, delta x whole square, comma delta y whole square. Okay. So in this expression, if you notice it, so when I and j both are of the same sign, I plus 1, j plus 1, I minus 1, j minus 1, they are having positive, okay, positive coefficient here, positive plus 1. So this term and this term, okay, they are having, so when I minus, when indices I plus, the indices are same in the first part and second part, then this is positive, okay. So this is I plus 1, so for the, we have j plus 1, so this is positive, plus. This is I minus 1. Similarly, this is also j minus 1. This is plus. Now, these are opposite signs. So, this is I plus 1, but this is j minus 1. So, we have a minus sign. This is I minus 1, j plus 1. We have a minus sign. So, this is the expression for the mixed derivative. Okay. Now, what we have done in the method 1, we have taken the x derivative first and y derivative later. We can just do the reverse of this. We can take the y derivative first, and then we can take the x derivative and we can simplify. So that we have been doing here. So we can write it del x of del u del y, whatever is this. Now we don't operate this x derivative in the first, but we operate on the y derivative. So if we operate on the y derivative, I will be constant and j will change. Okay. So this we are keeping it as it is. So del x. So here I is constant and j will change. So I is constant and j is changing. So I comma j plus 1 minus I comma j minus 1. So fixed I and j is changing. So distance between j plus 1 and j minus 1 is 2 delta y. So this is order of delta y whole square. Okay. This is the first order forward difference formula. Now this term you will simplify. This term you will simplify. Those terms we are writing here again. 1 by 2 delta y del u del x at I comma j plus 1 minus del u del x at I comma j minus 1. The order of delta y whole square. Now this expression you already know. This is in terms of x derivative. So I will change and j will be constant. So u I plus 1 j plus 1 minus u I minus 1 j plus 1 by 2 delta x minus here also I will change and j will be constant I plus 1 j minus 1 minus I minus 1 j minus 1 by 2 delta x, same order of accuracy. So when we simplify, we recover the same expression. Okay, so this is by method 2 the expression for the mixed derivative of order 2. Okay, so we have the solutions. Now this same mixed derivative can be simplified by using the Taylor's approximation for the second derivatives. Okay, so if you go for Taylor's approximation, so we have made the mesh, we have made the grid. Okay, so in this stencil we have the nodes of interest I plus 1 j plus 1 I plus 1 j. We have taken the diagonally with respect to point ij. There are corners which are located along the diagonals, those we have taken. So we shall expand these terms. Okay, u I plus 1 comma j plus 1. Okay, I plus 1 means x plus delta x, j plus 1 means y plus delta y, j minus 1 means y minus delta y. So the unknown variable we can expand at this point, this point, this point, and this point with respect to the reference point. So this is the reference point. Okay, so delta x equals to, you know this thing. Now for I plus 1 and j plus 1, this is x plus delta x, this is y plus delta y. So both are positive. And here this is x minus delta x and y minus delta y. So h and k both are negative. Now what is our objective in this Taylor's method? We are expanding these terms. Okay, so we shall find out u I plus 1 comma j plus 1 by Taylor's expansion. So this will be Taylor's expansion in two variables, x plus delta x. So what is this? This is u at x plus delta x comma y plus delta y. Okay, this will be u at x minus delta x y comma y plus delta y, q x plus delta x comma y minus delta y, and so on. Okay, so you already have the Taylor's expansion formula in 3 dimensions. So easily we can perform the expansion in 2D in two variables, and then you can rearrange these terms, these expansions in this way. So using Taylor's expansion, first to find out this term. Okay, so first to find out this term using Taylor's expansion, and then to find out, so up to third order at least you should perform. Then you find out this term using Taylor's expansion about point ij. You do it for all these terms, and then the way the signs we have arranged these terms, you just do this kind of rearrangement, and then to find out this expansion. So you will find that this terminology, this arrangement, it will ultimately give you 4 delta x delta y into this mixed derivative, and this will be the order of accuracy. So in Taylor's expansion, the whatever we are doing in this study material, we did not show the calculation of the truncation error. We are just showing that expansion and simplification will give you these terms. Okay, so first let us see. First we are going for, this is the expansion of Taylor in 2 dimensions in 2 variables. This is the basic for any unknown variable f. So function, some unknown function at x plus delta x, y plus delta y. So we can write that f at I plus 1 comma j plus 1. So this is equivalent to writing f of I plus 1, or you can think f is u. So you can think that u at I plus 1 comma j plus 1 equals to u at x plus delta x comma y plus delta y. So this is the expansion. Up to third derivative we have shown fxy plus h del del x plus k del del y by factorial 1. So in different powers we shall get. Okay, so you will see that it is not exactly like powers. When we simplify, it gives you ultimately the order of the derivatives. Okay, so this second power, the third power, and so on. So When we are showing the first example for u at I plus 1, first we want to deal with this term. U at I plus 1, j plus 1. It means u at x plus delta x, comma y plus delta y. So this is giving you u at x plus delta x, comma y plus delta y is equivalent to u I plus 1, comma j plus 1. This is u ij. This is the same thing I am writing here, okay? Uij plus h del del x plus k del del y by factorial 1. So fxy is uij, okay, u at point ij, at node ij. So this is the first derivative part, means the first order term. Then we are getting the second derivative, okay. So here the second power. So this is the expansion formula, this third part. So now we are expanding this thing. So here you will see that it is h del del x operating on u. So h del u del x at point ij. Same for the k. Similarly, this term, when you are expanding, so you be careful that it is not like del del x of whole square. So it gives you del 2 del x2. Okay, so this difference you should note. So it is h square. It is not like h square del del x whole square. So it is h square del 2 del x2. Okay. So this should be, you should be careful, don't make mistake in the exam if I ask it. So h square del 2 del x2. Now this u is coming here. Similarly, this will not be 2hk del del x del del y. It will be 2hk del 2 del x del y. So this is 2hk del 2 del x del y. So this is operating on this unknown u. And similarly, this is k square del 2 del y2, k square del 2 del y2. This term is actually here, which is my mistake in writing. This is del 2 del y2. This is certainly incorrect. Okay, you easily understand. This is del x2, so it must be del y2. Okay, at point ij. And then this is for the cubic term. Okay, so a cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square plus b cube. Okay, and this is giving factorial 3, 1/6. So these terms we are showing, and then we can find out the Taylor expansion for this corner point, ui minus 1, comma j plus 1, for example, this term. So it will be x minus delta x, comma y plus delta y. So this we are doing here, I minus 1 j plus y equals to, so it means that in this previous expression, wherever there is plus 1 with I plus 1, this will be I minus 1. So it means that wherever you have plus h, that should be substituted by minus h. Okay, this is the meaning actually, that in u I plus 1, you are going to plus x. So in u I minus 1, you are going from here to minus x. So minus delta x. So minus delta x means minus h. So in your reference formula, if you use this as a reference formula for all cases, wherever you have put h is positive, simply substitute h by minus h and you get the next formula. So in this case, what is happening? ui minus 1 j plus 1 uij plus, so this is minus, okay, because of this h will be minus h, because of this minus. So this is same thing, whatever we have written, same thing we are doing here, minus h del del x plus k del del y whole square by factorial 2 uij. Same thing, the cubic term, minus h del del x plus k del del y whole cube by factorial 3 uij. Okay, so when you simplify these terms, you can find that it is giving you some positive terms and some negative terms. Okay, so where you may make mistake, the most possible chance of making mistake is here. This is not del 2 del x whole square. Okay, it is different from that. So you treat it as del 2 del x2. Okay, so here also similar mix in the cross derivative also same thing. So you can see that your cross derivative term, you have to find out this term. Your question is that find out this term. So you can see that this term is present here also. Now in the next calculation, here also this term is present, mixed derivative is present. Now we choose another one, ui minus 1, j minus 1. So this is in the fourth quadrant compared to the point ij. So it is I minus 1 and j minus 1. So wherever there is h, make it minus h. Wherever there is k, make it minus k because of this minus. So h is minus h, k is minus k. Okay, for even derivatives, they are all positive. for odd derivatives, systematically things will happen. Okay. So here, what is happening that one term I just did not tell it. This is here ui plus 1 j minus 1. So this is h plus x plus delta x, and this is y minus delta y. So k will be negative. Wherever there is k, you put minus k. So negative k, it is negative k, but this is square, so positive. So a cube minus 3a square b plus 3ab square minus b cube. Okay. So this is giving you the one expansion. So we are showing here up to the third order. So you can go up to fourth order. You can go one more expansion. You can go, and by using the binomial theorem, you can go for the fourth order. Okay. Then you have all the four expansions. Now we already know what is the solution for this problem. We already know that this derivative is simplified in this manner, and we have our truncation error as this one. So in this simplification, we did not show the calculation of truncation error, but we have now this arrangement we shall follow, and we shall show that this term comes. So whatever the expansions we have made right now, we just arrange in that manner that all the similar kind of terms, I plus 1 corresponding is j plus 1, I minus 1 corresponding to j minus 1. These are the plus terms. If it is minus, then it is plus. If it is plus, it is minus. So it must be minus. So when we arrange terms in this manner, so regarding CFD, my suggestion is that if you read it, so actually in the class, in the physical classroom, I used to derive each and every expression in hand actually. So what I used to do that each and every expression I shall derive in hand, and classes will be more than 1 hour. It was impossible to complete these things in one class. So I used to take classes of 1.5 hours, and I used to take many extra classes. So last time in 2019, I think 2020, I took this class in the lab, this CFD class in a classroom. After that, because of Corona, things have changed, and I am giving this material. So my suggestion to all of you, not only for exam purpose, I am telling that since you are doing a course, you must know the subject. You should develop your curiosity, and you should know more actually. So you should be practicing by writing. If you read it, I am telling nobody can write it in the exam or anywhere. So if you write it once, this is equivalent to reading 3 times. So writing is more powerful than just reading. So I suggest always, not only in CFD, in other subjects where you have to deal with lots of expressions, you should practice by writing. Okay. So these things, if you don't write, just look into the note, I am sure you cannot write in the exam. I also cannot write. So practicing is required. Okay. So if you do this in this manner, and if you simplify from here, then you will see that the second derivative terms will be cancelled out. Third, this cross derivative terms will be present, and these third derivatives all will be absent. So that I am not discussing. It is simply calculation. Okay. So when we do all these things, so what we are doing here, this total expansion, whatever we got by Taylor's expansion up to third derivative, that we have written here. This is that expansion. Then we have minus sign. This is the minus sign. U I minus 1 j plus 1 expansion, whatever we got, that we have written here. Okay. After that, we have the plus, we have minus sign, but I have written here the plus sign. So this term I have written U I minus 1 j minus 1. Something is somewhere I made, maybe some small mistake might be there in this write-up. Okay. But my point is that 2 minus and 2 plus, and you know the expansion, so you carefully perform the simplification. So if you find that I made some mistake in putting some signs, that is not important. Important is that you should practice it by writing, and you should derive it. Okay, you can do it. And then we are getting from here that we have these terms plus lots of other terms. So here we are writing that all the cubic terms are cancelling. And to find out the truncation error, we need the fourth derivative terms, this fourth power terms. Okay, so that we did not show here. We already know the truncation error from this central difference approximations of the mixed derivatives. So that by that directly we are writing the truncation error. Okay, so this is the expression of the mixed derivative. But you should remember that in your basic fluid dynamics equations, energy equation, momentum equation, and the continuity equation, we don't have this kind of terms. Okay, in conventional primitive variable forms. Okay, so this is this I end here, And then next, in the next class, we shall discuss about this finding the derivatives method by using some curve fitting. Okay, so we want to fit some parabola, we want to fit some cubic curve or even higher order curves to do the same thing which the Taylor series gives. So is it possible that I can take one class on Sunday, first half? Is it possible, Saturday or Sunday? Because I am seeing the syllabus is very big actually. It is very difficult to complete.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Hmm? I do actually, I don't understand one thing that when you have